Hi friends, hope you're doing good. In this video, I'm going to be talking about navigating perfectionism and how do we break the pattern of perfectionism. So we are going to be talking about understanding what perfectionism truly is, identifying the traits of being a perfectionist, effects of perfectionism on mental health, strategies to overcome it, challenging perfectionist thoughts. Yes, friends, I'm going to be sharing with you some amazing solutions of how you can challenge thoughts around perfectionism. Then we're also going to talk about cultivating self compassion, setting realistic expectations, and embracing imperfection in three step by step way. At the end of this video, I'm going to be sharing with you an activity to shift your self belief about perfectionism with CVT. So, watch this video till the end, friends. To start with, let's understand what perfectionism is. So, this is nothing but a personality trait which is characterized by setting extremely high standards for your own self or for other people around you. As simple as that. Now, if I am perfectionist, I am often going to, have sense of dissatisfaction or lack of contentment, for whatever I do, how much soever I do. Now, there are essentially three forms of perfectionism, which is self-oriented perfectionism. Here, I think like I should always be perfect or I should always do things perfectly. Second form is other-oriented perfectionism. This is where I'm imposing high standards on other people around me, thinking like others should behave and act perfectly. And the third form of perfectionism is socially prescribed perfectionism. Here, I believe that other people are believing about me that I need to be perfect. The three root causes of perfectionism includes fear of failure, low self-esteem, and external pressures. Let's move further, friends, to understand what are the traits of a perfectionism. Of course, one we already know, which is setting unrealistically high standards for themselves or for somebody else, and always, feeling stressed and anxious about it. Then, fear of failure. Perfectionists tend to have this intense fear of failure about, whatever they do. Then, all or nothing thinking. Friends, this kind of a thinking is called all or nothing or black and white thinking. Now, here we think in ways of either this or either that. Either I am on a strict diet or I am going to eat junk food. Either you are my best friend or my worst enemy. Either I am super successful or I'm a total failure. Friends, perfectional people have this tendency to think in black and white. So it is important to break this thinking habit by asking these set of questions to your own self. Am I thinking in extreme? Do I see any all or nothing thought pattern? Are there any gray areas that I can consider? Are there any midway solutions? Friends, when you ask yourself these questions, you tend to break this kind of a thinking, all or nothing thinking. Then procrastination. Now, because I'm thinking in all or nothing ways, that means I'm end up don't taking action towards my goals and goals. So I tend to procrastinate. It is important to break this procrastination by telling yourself some affirmations. One of which I would recommend is I am willing to make small progress every day. Friends, small progress is great progress when made every day rather than making huge progress. If you are someone who is trying to lose weight and you are just not able to take action, this affirmation could do wonders for you. I am willing to make small progress every day. This could perhaps, create an action where you just go to the gym for like 5 minutes or 10 minutes. Great. Start walking for 10 minutes. Great. That is still progress. Then the effects of perfectionism on mental health. I'm not going to stress upon this. We all know it increases anxiety and stress. It kind of hurts our self-esteem. There is tendencies of procrastination and avoidance, and also it strains our relationship as well. You can always pause this video and read through this material, but I'm going to move further anyways. Friends, the strategies to overcome perfectionism. First strategy is practice mindfulness. You wake up in the morning, start by doing some meditation, some yoga, or even Om chanting can work wonders. I mean, I've done Om chanting and it works brilliantly well. Second, seek support. If you are having extreme difficulties with perfectionism, please consult your mental health counselor and take guidance and support. Third, celebrate progress, not perfection. Friends, it is important to also look how much progress you have made rather than what's outstanding or what's pending to be done. Or rather, just look at perfection in that attitude. Challenge all or nothing thinking, which I have already covered in the earlier slide. Engage in self-care activities. Yes, friends, extremely important. Love yourself, be compassionate towards yourself, be, nurture yourself, take some hobbies. It's important that you do self-care and self-compassion. Challenging perfectionist thoughts. Friends, extremely important. Perfectionist people always usually have this tendency of catastrophizing thoughts. Catastrophizing typically means making a mountain out of a molehill, or looking at the worst possible case scenarios only. So if you are thinking in catastrophe, it is important to decatastrophize your thinking by asking these kind of questions. Am I catastrophizing this thought? Am I blowing this out of proportion? What is the worst possible outcome? What is the best possible outcome? And what is the likely outcome? If you ask these questions, you will create different level of perspectives. Your thinking will kind of change, and you'll be able to see, uh, you will be able to decatastrophize those thoughts around what you have been, giving more and more importance. Then, friends, comparison trap. There is no point in comparing yourself with others. If you are, you're just, I believe you're just losing out, on your mental peace. Best is to bless them with what you don't have. Just bless them, give your blessings, and take inspiration from them. Yes, they have reached that level. What are the good qualities in them? Take those kind of learnings and inspiration from them and move on. Friends, cultivating self-compassion, as I said before, is extremely important when it comes to breaking this or navigating through perfectionism. I've covered most of these points, but what I want to cover and emphasize is to develop a good positive inner dialogue requires some level of training. My recommendation is for you to please go ahead and learn cognitive behavior therapy for your own self development, for your increasing your own self talk skills. Yes, friend, this is the most amazing language that you can ever learn for yourself is cognitive behavior therapy. Then setting realistic expectations. Acknowledge your limits. Friends, know that you have limitations so that you don't exert and overstretch yourself. Focus on your progress, prioritize self care, learn to delegate. Now, if you are a perfectionist, then you may be wanting to do things all by your own. Start by delegating, trivial things or administrative things, to your junior or to somebody else, so that you still do the key things, but the simple, smaller tasks can be done by others also. So start delegating small things and then start delegating bigger things later too. Friends, the three steps, which includes acknowledge your imperfection, which means perfection is, of course, unattainable. We all know it's very unrealistic. So the first step to embrace imperfection in your life is to acknowledge that there is imperfection. Start by acknowledging right now as you are watching this video. You don't have to like go back and do meditation and then be in that zone. Just acknowledge, just tell yourself, yes, I acknowledge today that I am imperfect. And then once you are able to acknowledge it, just embrace that, embrace your own uniqueness. Imperfections make us unique and we are human beings. So just embrace it right now itself as we speak. Focus on progress, which is again extremely important. Focus on how much progress you made rather than getting details into what went wrong and all of those things. And celebrate small victories, friends. Celebrate your milestones. That's again extremely important for self-love and self-acceptance too. Friends, now we are going to talk about this activity on how we can dissolve our self beliefs around perfectionism and kind of create new set of self beliefs. Now, if you see this slide has already come up, given a choice, I would want to go back and recreate this video, but I'm definitely not perfect, so I'm going to go by the flow. So here it goes. So these are my old beliefs like I should always be perfect. I have to work hard to live like them. That's a comparison that is happening. I must not make a mistake, else I will be a failure. That is catastrophizing. They have to behave and act perfectly. That is imposing perfectionism on other people. People observe me all the time. I must always be perfect. That's a third form of perfectionism that we spoke earlier. Friends, understand the pattern first before we move further. This is how the pattern goes. I should. The word should is very important here. The should is like a self demand, right? You're demanding yourself to do something or to be something. Then I have to. Have to is again a self demand. I must not make a mistake. Again a self demand. I have to be, they have to behave and act perfectly. Again is demand on others. And then I must always be perfect. Again a self demand. Friends, it is important to dissolve these self-demanding thoughts, right? And that's what we are going to do right now in the next slide. So how we actually do it, what I would like you to do is take one self-belief that you have about perfection right now in this video. It could be one of these listed on your screen, or it could be something that we've discussed earlier in the slide. Just choose one self-belief. I assume you have chosen. I want to ask you some questions. What cost are you paying to think this way, friend? What cost are you paying? Now, this should give you awareness about, that your mental peace is getting disturbed, your emotional well-being is getting disturbed. That's the awareness, you could create. Then who's gaining and who's losing when you think this way? Now, this could give you awareness that it is only you who's, losing out on when you think this way. If you continue to think like this, are you really going to make progress or ease your life? I guess no. Then would you encourage your loved one to think this way? I guess not. I don't think you encourage your loved one also to think the way you're thinking about this perfectionist thought. Then are you willing to now let go of this thinking and create a healthy and a helpful way of thinking? Now, friend, if you have answered yes, that means you are ready to let go of that old belief or that old thought patterns. Now, let's move further and see how we can really replace that old beliefs in a more realistic way. Friends, cognitive behavior therapy uh, uh, is not really about positive thinking. It is about creating helpful and realistic, thought patterns. And that's the title of this slide as well. So I should always be perfect. If you have this thought, then you could perhaps look at, a different alternative thought, which is, I prefer to be perfect and I'm open to exceptions and imperfections here and there. Friends, do you see what I'm doing? I have created a realistic thought. Now, if I tell you that the realistic thought should be, I am okay to be not perfect at all times. I mean, this will contradict your subconsciousness. So this is more of a, so what you see on the screen is more of a helpful thought and a realistic thought as well. Then I have to work hard to live like them. Friends, we spoke, there's no point in comparison. So you could think like, I wish to put in my best to live a good standard of living. Friends, it is important for you to increase and improve your standard of living rather than just, comparing yourself with others. Then I must not make a mistake, else I will be a failure. You could think like, mistakes do not make me a failure. I am learning from them. They should behave and act perfectly. You could think like, I wish that others behave and act perfectly. However, I am okay if they don't, as I have no control over them. Friends, do we truly have any control about what other people think, feel, and do? We don't have, right? So if I am thinking that they should behave and act perfectly, then I'm putting a lot of pressure on them as well. So I don't have to do that by shifting my thought pattern. People observe me all the time. I must always be perfect. Now, this is also, not true. And you got to break this thinking pattern as well. So people observe me all the time. I prefer to set a standard to the best of my ability. I am okay for people to know that I am not perfect at all times. Friends, if you think that this slide is of relevance to you, my suggestion is go ahead and repeat that alternatives thought at least 5 to 8 times in your own heart and mind, and see you will be able to see a very good and amazing shift as well. Friends, I hope you like this video. And if you want to learn more about cognitive behavior therapy for for your life's everyday challenges, then click on the link below. And it is a self-paced online self-paced course which you can learn at your own convenience. And if you wish for us to deliver CBT training for self-development for your college and community, please feel free to reach out to us. Friends, if you like this video, please like, subscribe, and share. And till then, thank you very much. Take care. God bless.